Welcome to Yeshiva Daf, Shir Sponsor, Nishmas, Am Yakashon, Labas Yitzchok. We're holding in Basra, Daf Kuf Lamed Ches. We're starting Daf Kuf Lamed Zayin with base towards the bottom, the last four lines of the Amud. Someone writes his nechosov to others. Meaning he gives it as a gift. Says the receiver, I'm not interested. Kana, he is koine. Even though the second one says, I'm not interested, and he's screaming, I'm not interested, he's still not koine these nechosim, as Lugors can explain in a moment. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, loy kana. He's not koine. Omar, right, because he's not interested. Omar bi'abo, ma mimel, v'loy pli. There's no machlokes. Explains in what I've called ches on top. Kam b'tzeber mikaro, kam b'shler mikaro, so v'tzovach. If from beginning he's screaming, so you say there's no, he's not interested. You can't force someone to receive a gift. But if in the beginning he's silent, and then he starts screaming. Once, as the Rishbam says, Kevan de kiba ashtar beshtiko nistratz and niskumatot. He agreed to it. Umeacha shezocha in moil klum lo yitzia meshuso in hashova ivsh matnazu ad sheyitno belosh maton alachim mashafkim. The only way out of it is only if he gives it as a gift or he's mafkir it. So the Moram nach beitzog zikol al deacher. If he gave it through somebody else, you have a third party. Veshasak ul bosov tzolach. And he was quiet, he was silent, and then he starts screaming. I'm shiving him near. We have also machlekes. Titania, someone gives nechos to somebody else. And there is slaves in there. I'm not interested. If the second master is a kohen, why do because they're nikna to the second one. Because he said, I'm not interested. So it's not his. And the boy asked, the Takava says he receives it even though he's not interested. If he's screaming at the beginning, nobody argues the lekam, he's not koine. Shas like he was quiet and then he started screaming the kulam pligi the koine. He's koine because he's koine. What happens if he gave it to a third party? He was silent, then he was screaming. The Kama saw him in the Shasi Kanino. Once he's silent, they saw before he's crying. The Heidi Katsova, that is screaming, now do the code of changing his mind, too late. The fact he's screaming later shows the beginning he was also screaming. So meaning, if he's getting the gift into his hand and he doesn't protest, that means he accepts it. But if he's not getting it into his hand, someone else is getting it for him, maybe the fact he's not protesting, he says, it's not coming to me, I don't have to say anything, because Shmerel is Zoiche for Nechosim from Beryl, you're going to make me become an owner? I'm not allowed to scream till later. Now, just what to mention over here, the Rashbam and Tais over here argue, it's based on the Gemara in Chulin. It goes like this. Sorry, maybe Yoshua told increases, I apologize. What is the machlekes? When the Rishon gives it to the Shimon, what's the case the Gemara starts with? The case of the classic case. Reuben gives it to Shimon. Shimon says, I'm not interested. He doesn't get it. If he says it from the beginning, he doesn't get it. Now that he doesn't get it, does it go back to the Rishon? Or that doesn't belong to neither of them? The Rashbam learns it belongs to neither of them, meaning it becomes hefker. Look at Rosh Rashbam. The Rashbam says, if the first Rashbam in the Omid, the Rashbam says, "Kamet tzoveach mikar, mitchilu k'shemaso lezeh sashtai tchil tzoveach." He started to scream. Hikach lekol shein nezakim lo dem alkol. You can't force a person to receive a gift. The chayvuloi, the chtiv soyne matonasiche. To receive a gift is not a great thing. They're really bad traffics. V'anoy senatzo lo yichzoloi, lo tachzoloi. Don't give it back to the owner. Shrei silik atzomim. And he brings a ram from the Gemara Christus from Rish Lakish that you say that he doesn't get it at all. That's how the Rashbam knows. The Tais over here, it's one long Tais here on the side of the page, and he says that when the Gemara Christus speaks about it, it's only once he was Zoiche. If you look at the bottom of Tosis, the fourth wide line. It says, L'chen niri lefarish, there is shokish nami ayri achash shabo matan liyadoi. Then shosar galos atzovach. The other kamachad, the shosar atzovach, lekana, and shalech zul, and noisel, and hefkarim. And we talk about the second case. He did get the karka. So now, if he screams, it becomes hefker. But if you scream from the beginning, he only gave it without kabbalah. So in the faces, when Reuben gives a gift to Shimon, Shimon says, "I'm not interested." Does it go back to the Reuben, or does it become hefker? Okay, so we're in the middle of the page, middle of Medalef, Torah Banon. Next, the beginning of the line. Torah Banon Shchimira Shomar. Tnu matayim zuz leploini, ushloish mod leploini, v'rabam is leploini. So he says, I want to give 200 to Reuven, 300 to Shimon, 400 to Levi. You don't say, whoever is earlier, he's the first one to get it. Why? Because how are you supposed to do it? He wants to give to Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. There's no indication he wants to give to Reuven more than Shimon, or to Shimon more than Levi. He just says, I have now money, I want to split it among the people that I know. Reuven will take 200, Shimon will take 300, they will take 400. That's why, if a lender comes with a shtar chayiv, he will go and extract the money from all of them equally, meaning everyone proportionally. The Rashbam brings an example. He says, if the Baal Chayiv is coming to be goyve 9 dinarim, so then he's taking from the one who has 202, the one who has 303, and the one who has 404. But it's proportionally, it's a percentage based on what they have. Because there's no indication that one is greater than the other. If he said, give it to Reuben, then after Reuben, give it to Shimon. After Shimon, give it to Levi. He said, add the word Achrov. That means he's saying the secondary in the line. So then, then you say, whoever comes first, he's Zoichet. Why is that so? Because if he's not zoichem, if the reason he's after to tell me the first one has the first right, it's like the first one who bought the property. The lender goes always to the last one. You go to the last one. Levi doesn't have, you go to Shimon. So you give 200 zuz to my bchor, and he adds the word karoi loy, as he deserves. These words, as he deserves, are extra, like I was going to say soon. And that it's a lishti aser to give him what? Yipui koyach, to strengthen the bchor. Noitlom b'noitlas bchor. So he takes both. He takes his bchor, his double. In addition, he takes 200, because this person says, give him 200 as he deserves, meaning give him what he wants, plus he's such a good boy, I'm giving another 200. But he says, I want to give 200 for the b'choiro of my son, meaning he's giving it as the payment of his b'choiro. So then the b'chor has a choice. He can choose either or. Either he takes the b'choiro, or he takes the 200. Right? Meaning what? Whatever is greater. Why? Why is that so? As the Rashbam points out, we learned it earlier, a b'choiro you can't change. The father has the ability to, he has the right to change any other son to what he wants to give to him. But to a b'chor you can, because a b'chor it says, lo yuchal levakir, the special pasuk in the Torah, you can come and change a b'chor. So he deserves the b'chor, the father doesn't have the ability to do it. But if the father gave him 200 is more than his b'chor, so he can say, you know what, I'm going to follow my father's thing. He has the choice to either keep the b'chor as he deserves, or to get more, that's what the father gave him, either or, not both. Very similar case. So I want to give to my wife 200 zuz as she deserves. So that means extra words of karoila. It says he gets double. She gets the ksuba and she gets this 200. So but if he said I'm giving it for her ksuba, again he doesn't have the ability to reduce her ksuba if she's not agreeing to it. So therefore what? She has the choice. We're taking the gears over here of the Gillian, the Yavitz. If she wants Nitalta, if she wants, she can take that. If it's more than a ksuva, If not, she takes the ksuba because he can't reduce it. He tells somebody, give to an zuz to this person who is my lender as he deserves. Again, he takes both that and the chayv because he's giving him back whatever he deserves. Plus, he says karoy, just take to give him more. The amar bechayv, but if you start giving it for the loan, exchange for the loan, then you take it for the chayv, right? Then you give it for the chayv. And so says the Gemara, Mishum Da'amar Karoi Loi Noitlom Noitlom Chayva. Because he says Karoi, he gets more. Fildilma Karoi B'Chayva Karma. Really, the Gemara is focusing on the last one, but really refers to the first two as well. Maybe it is the payment to what he deserves. Amar Nachan Amar Liuno Hamanya Bekivi Dedayik Lishne Seira. And she does a Bekiva that we saw earlier in the Masechta, that he learns Mishneh Seira, which means he always is medayik from the fact that you say extra words that you want to give him more. It says in the Mishnah, as we learned earlier, so someone who sells a house, he's not selling him the pit. Even though he said the height and the depth, he's not selling the pit, he keeps the pit for himself. But he needs to take a derech, a pathway to reach the pit. Because you're giving him the pit, you're giving the house without the pit, not with a way. Cholim say you don't have to say, don't take away. He did not give him the way to get to the pit. If he added the words, extra words unnecessary, I'm not selling you the pit, you don't have to take away. Why? When you say words are unnecessary, it means you're coming to add more to the sale. Here you don't have to say it, and he says more than you need to, so then it's for milsa, and that's the case over here. He's giving more than, he's saying more than he needs to say, I'm giving an addition to the chayv, addition to the ksuva, addition to the chayv. So the Gemara, and by the way, the Rashbam points out, Gemara says this is Rabbi Akiva. Doesn't mean Rabbanim disagree with Rabbi Akiva with that. Rabbanim disagree because of other reasons, because I'm moicher b'ayin yafa moicher, or moicher b'ayin ra moicher. But mitzad, the din of if adding words is more, could be Rabbanim don't agree. But we just found Rabbi Akiva speaking about it, that's what we say Rabbi Akiva. So the Gemara told Rabbanim shchim rash omar moni yesh li etzaploini. Person goes, he's about to die, and he says, Rabbi Yisai, I want to tell you that Shmerel owes me money. Now, we don't know if it's true or not true, right? But he's about to die. And if we're not going to document it, maybe it's going to be forgotten. So the Gemara, the Eidim should write that the Shemra told us the Shmerel owes him money, even though they don't know if it's true or not true. Therefore, so if the son now wants to come and get money, extract money, you don't just trust the shtar. I don't know if the shtar is good or not good. So what do? You have to bring a raya. I mean, you have to come and prove that this is a correct case. That if the Shemra said that Shemra owes the money, he actually owes the money. Because the fact that it was written doesn't mean that it's true. The Chacham say no. You don't write it unless you have a kara that you know that's true. If not, don't write it. Says the Gemara, therefore, when it comes to extract the money, you don't have to be a raya, because I know that it's true, because the Eidim will never sign it without verifying the truth. So as if the Eidim were made, we check the case and we know that really Shmuel owes the money. Said the Gemara, Omar, Rav Nachman, Omar, Liuno, Tana, Rameh, or Emer, Ein Koisim. Rameh says you don't write. The Choyim Oimrim Koisim. Choyim say you do write. I mean the opposite of what we have. The only reason that Rameh said that Ein Koisim is really, it should have been that you could write it without verifying, and then the Beis will check it out later. But sometimes there will be a Beis who will make a mistake. Mimikar Din, the Eidim could write it, and we should not rely on what they're saying without verifying it. But maybe there will be a Beis in time that they will not verify. So therefore the chumrah don't write. So we're not choishish to a Beis Din. The Beis Din, we don't choishish the Beis Din will come and rely on Eidim and make that mistake. So what's the difference between that and the Rava? Tomer Rava ain't choytzim. You don't do chalitza. Elim ken makir. You don't do chalitza unless you know the case. You don't do miyun unless you know the case. The figure of course we get chalitza, we get miyun al b'shein makir. Meaning what? Meaning if there comes a case in front of Beis Din, you tell Beis Din you should know that a few months ago another Beis Din did a chalitza. So the Beis Din can assume that probably the chalitza was done correctly, because the first Beis Din will never do chalitza without checking and verifying that it's done correctly. So you mean when it comes in front of the second Beis Din and they know there was a chalitza that was done, they can just assure that she's muteres l'shok. But if the first Beis Din were to do with a makirim, meaning what will be a makirim, I'm not sure this is the yovel. Comes a woman in front of us, her husband died without kids. Comes somebody else, says, I'm the brother. So they don't know if he's really the brother or not. So you know what? Let's do chalitza just in case. If he's the brother, great. If he's not the brother, when she wants to get married, the next Beis Din will check it out. That's doing an ein makir. So the more it's like this, says Rava, you can trust, you can rely on when the Beis Din do chalitza in the first place, they will verify that. And therefore, when it comes in front of another Beis Din, you can trust the first Beis Din did the verification. That's about chalitza. That's why chalitza b'shem makir. So the tomorrow, my time, I mean, what's the reason that we will make sure that the first Beis Din does it correctly? Is it not because the Beis Din, if you're not doing it correctly, maybe the next Beis Din will assume they did it correctly, even though they make a mistake? So well, look, Beis Din basa Beis Din l'daiki, Beis Din basa Eidim daiki. So I'll tell you the difference. Meaning you're right, Rava, but Rava is because of a different reason. The reason is because who does chalitza? Chalitza is Beis Din. Beis Din does chalitza. There, Rava says, if you won't do it without checking it out, the next Beis Din will rely on the first Beis Din. Because Beis Din relies on Beis Din. But in the case of the Eidim writing a loan, writing that Shmer owes money to the Shchimera, it's not Beis Din, it's Eidim. So there, Beis Din will make a mistake, it will know not to rely on these Eidim. So therefore, says the Gemara, Rava really says, we chosh Beis Din Toyim, but only Beis Din on Beis Din, not Beis Din on Eidim. Just to mention it, we'll just conclude this daf, is that as the Rashbam brings over here, the Rashbam and Tosfos, there is a girsa in the Gemara on Yevamis. The shaila is, what did Rava say? Because Rava quoted Rav Schoira. Rava said his own thing. The way our girsa is, the way we read it, the Rava is the one who holds that we do chalitza only if you know. And Rav Schoira that he quotes said otherwise. So we're quoting this girsa. As the Tosfos brings in the side, again a long Tosfos on the right, he brings the Rashi in Yevamis learns differently. And then we have to change the Gersa, and that's why there's a discussion, really more to the more Yevamis, but it's based on our Gemara. So with this we end this daf.